I'm at a place called Scandrit's Bay Historic Farm. Martins Bay is down the hill over there. I'm in the northeast of Auckland. Beautiful up here. It's all just peninsulas and bays, all the way up to Matakana where I was last night for a party, for a little gathering last night. It was beautiful, but I left early this morning to come on hit the road, and I'm heading back down to Auckland City, and then across to the northwest or West Auckland for a little party again tonight. First time I've had a couple of parties for a long time, and the opportunity to be a bit more social. So I had a situation last night where someone crossed the line with me, and someone I've been working with and working for the last month or so, who's a serial line crosser. Just keeps crossing fucking lines and pushing over boundaries. And I end up having a moment last night where I actually let him have it. I had enough, so I put my foot down in a really hard way. I had to relieve 3 or 4 voice messages before I got to a place where I was actually calm enough to say to him, literally, because I do this quite often, I'll record 3 or 4 voice messages and I'll fucking let go. I'll really have a go. And I won't send the messages, but I'll just get my anger out, my frustration out. I will voice how I feel in that moment, but I won't send it. I'll get to a place where I'm more concise, more calm, but still have the same energy behind what I'm saying. And I sent this guy the message last night saying, you've crossed the fucking line with me, enough is enough, we're done, I'm not working for you anymore in regards to me being a contractor. We're done. And what happens next is that I'm going to go and see this guy probably today or tomorrow. I'm going to get paid my wages, gather some of my equipment, and I'm off. But I want to make a video about the nature of holding the light by embracing the dark, because this is a really important aspect in my life and my experience where the two go hand in hand and they're the same force. So in order for me to embrace my shadow and embrace how I truly feel about a situation, which when someone crosses a line for me, or I get to a situation where I feel like I'm being not appreciated for the time and effort I've been putting into a situation, or someone crosses a line for me in a way that makes me feel unsafe, and I need to put my foot down. I need to get into a place of not resistance, but definitely a place of like holding my line and my boundary, and I have to set that boundary. I have to turn to the part of myself which I don't really necessarily bring out much in my life, which is a part of myself where I become angry, and my anger is justified due to the nature of the situation I find myself in for me. And I look for a way to express it, and by holding that light for me, holding the light of the boundary, holding the light of my integrity, holding the light of my authenticity, I'm able to embrace my darkness and utilize my darkness as a force of freedom, an expression of freedom, without the necessity to hurt anybody else, because that individual yesterday was attempting to hurt me, and hurt me in a way that was financial, and I wasn't going to stand for it. It wasn't going to happen. So I put my foot down, told this individual enough is enough in regards to the individual I was working for, put my foot down, said, you're going to pay me what you owe me, I'm going to grab my stuff, and then we're done. Our work as contractors together is over, done. And I put my foot down hard. Like I said before, though, I made 3 messages first or 4 messages first, left them, and I was explicit and quite strong on my conviction and angry. I didn't send those messages. I got to a place where I filtered my anger down, was able to say what I needed to say, but I embraced my darkness in order to hold my light, which is my energy of equilibrium, my energy of integrity, my energy of honor, right? Standing in that place. And most importantly, freedom. I'm going to link a video to this, the last Stuart Wilde video that he made, or speech he ever gave apparently, which is brilliant. I was drawn to listen to this video a couple of days ago actually, and funnily enough, it kind of makes perfect sense to what happened last night. What he says in that speech, he was probably pissed out of his head. He was quite drunk, obviously, I think he had a few drinks before he made this last speech. But with Stuart Wilde later in his life, I don't know if you're familiar with Stuart Wilde's work, Infinite Self, Affirmations, Source, the force. But his books, for me, a lot of what he wrote about in his books, some of it at the end of his life I didn't really sort of gel with, but a lot of what he wrote earlier in his life, I really found, for me, very valuable. And at the end of his life, he got quite vehement in his place and his position of freedom, how he chose to live his life in a very unique way, a very powerful way, in a way that allowed him to be liberated in the sense that he knew who he was, and he always did, but lived in his life in a way that was fun, enjoyable, entertaining, and took no shit from no one. I had a friend who lived with Stuart Wilde and lived around Stuart Wilde, and hung out with him quite a lot in Dublin and Ireland, many years ago, the early 2000s. And he told me that Stuart Wilde's behaviour back then was pretty crazy, pretty wild, on the piss most nights, partying a lot, hanging out with cool people, having a really good time, enjoying himself. But his energy and his integrity was watertight. And that was the big takeaway from that speech for me, was the nature of integrity and freedom, and holding your freedom and knowing who you were, and telling the perceived authority, any perceived authority, and arseholes to fuck off. Don't take it personally, but fuck off. Holding your line, embracing your darkness by holding the light. And for me, that dance is strong in my life. I will not allow someone to dictate to me what their authority over me is. I don't give a damn if I'm working for that individual. It'll come to a place where I will stand, look at them toe to toe, face to face, and tell them to fuck off. I may be working for you to get a financial benefit from working for you, but you cannot cross my lines in regards to integrity, my honor, and do that without me not resisting, but me standing in front of you saying, like, no, fuck off, we're done, you'll pay me what you owe me, and we're done. And that's me holding the line in a way that's strong, but not in a way that was aggressive, because his nature of his actions towards me were very aggressive, this individual I was working for. But it reminded me of the Stuart Wilde aspect of looking at this situation and going, like, my freedom and my authority, I am the authority of my life, not this individual. And I will tell them to fuck off, and I will stand in my freedom, I will stand in my power, I will hold that light, but at the same time engage in my darkness in a way that makes this individual understand, comprehend, and understand beneath me. If they are trying to get over me, I will push them back to a place where they're not going to have anything, no authority over me at all, none whatsoever. And let them make them understand, stand under me, to comprehend that I will meet them as an equal. And in that equality, they will honour me and I will honour them, and that's it. We're moving on. End of story. Goodbye. Freedom. Freedom to me is the essential part of my life. It's a big part of my existence. And my only authority I ever bow down to is the God force, is God. That's it. There's no other authority in my life. I am the authority of my entire existence. I am the creator of my existence. I am the creator of my reality. I'm accountable for everything that I choose to do in my life. Now, the situation, not getting into it too much in regards to what happened, a client I was working for, at the behest of the guy I was working for, who is like my employer, had a word to my employer about some of my work in regards to what I did, which I went up and well and beyond what I was asked to do, because I wanted to make it quite clear that I was going to free up some capital on a job that would have gone towards one job that could be utilised on another job, right, for the same client, and save the client thousands of dollars, which was my intention. As a man of integrity, I knew how this project needed to happen, that I was doing for my boss, who was looking to rip this client off. And I was like, there's no integrity in this behaviour. But if I do this for the client, I step into my integrity with my knowledge of how to work the situation, how to paint a wall that's got a map over it, a veneer map over it, and do it and save the client $2,500 or $3,000 by not getting the wall jibbed, plastered, and painted. That money's freed up to work somewhere else within the property for the client and for my boss, right? So I took it into my position to do this work on my own volition without getting paid for it. So I plastered a section of the wall, I sanded it, I wanted to get the client, show the client what I'd done, didn't charge the client for it, used my own materials, on my time, didn't charge the client or my boss my time and my work. The client apparently had a word to my boss, said to my boss, I'm not paying you for that work that Far did. And I didn't even want him to do it, right? Well, okay, that's between me and the client, not between me and my boss. My boss decided to tell me that he wanted to deduct 2 hours of my time, even though it took me less than 25 minutes to do that work. 2 hours of my time for doing that, for pissing that client off. So I said to my boss, my former boss, no, you're fucking not. This is how long it took me. I did it on my time. I didn't charge you. I didn't charge him. I will go and see the client personally. I will tell the client why I did this. I will tell the client what my intention was, and I'll let the cards fall where they may. That's what I will do, because I was the one that did that on my own volition, not on yours. He's got no position to talk to you about what I did without knowing the full story. And he also doesn't know, this is the client, that my employer, even though I gave the client my word, and my word is my bond, that he gives my discount at Dulux here in Auckland to get paint at a 45% discount, that my boss was going to charge him full retail price and make $300 off the paint, and then pay me out of my own account the wages, part of my wages from the money he makes from charging the client full retail price, right? No integrity. Well, I've told the client that the client could get the paint for painting that entire room on my paint, on my discount, 45%. My boss was going to go behind my back and charge the client full fucking price for that paint, and then pay me some of my wages out of the money he made on the paint from my account. I was like, you got no fucking scruples, mate, and no integrity. And I'm not gonna. This is another line cross for me. This guy's a serial fucking line cross that the guy's working for. So once again, I embrace my darkness by holding the light of my integrity. Said to my boss, you can get fucked. I'm going to tell the client exactly what you were going to do on my account, because it's my word that you're breaking to the client. And I don't care if it's you are a client and employer relationship, and I might be an employer for you. It means everything to me to step into that place of my integrity and my authenticity to say to the client, hang on a minute, this is what he was going to do for you on my material, my account. He was going to do this. So once again, I could walk away from the situation and go like, you know what, let's let it go. But I'm not going to, because for me, this is the integrity of the situation. If he's got a problem with me, then I need to talk to him about it, not with my employer. So what I'll do is I'll go and see the client next week. I'll tell him exactly what I was going to do. I was looking to save him money. If he says, like, I don't give a damn about that, I don't care. That's on me, not on my employer. That's on me. I'll take full responsibility. I'm the one that chose to do that. So therefore, I will be there to face the music, not my employer, right? My employer who wanted to deduct 2 hours of my time for doing that. And then not only this, my employer knew last night I was at a party. He knew I was away for the weekend. He knew that this conversation could have been made between him and I on Monday morning, when I saw him on Monday morning. And that could have been all cleared up on Monday morning with the client and me and my employer together in the same room. I could have explained everything and in front of both people, and they could have come to an amicable agreement in regards to my behaviour. And I could have apologised to the client and to my employer in front of everyone. This whole thing could have been sussed out, sorted out then and there. But my employer decided to cross a fucking line last night. I told him I was away at a party for the weekend and was sending me messages, really nasty messages at this party last night that I was at. And it was totally unnecessary, and it basically ruined, it didn't ruin, but it pissed me off. I had to walk off and leave the party for half an hour to deal with my anger. I was so fucked off that he crossed that line when he knew I was at a party. He knew I was at a party. He knew he could have waited. He could have chilled out. Could have seen me on Monday morning. Had to talk to me on Monday morning with the client present. We could have had that conversation. Everything could have been cleared up there and then. I might still be working with this guy. But that's the nature of who I'm working for. But once again, for me, the darkness for me, is about acknowledging my anger, acknowledging the line cross, acknowledging my boundaries being crossed by this individual who's a serial line crosser and my former employer and not a friend. Acknowledging that, and by holding the light of my own integrity, my own honor, for me, it means I will tell the client exactly why I did what I did, and take the full brunt of his reaction to what I choose to tell him. And like I said before, if he tells me to go fuck myself, then I certainly fucking will leave, no problem. But at least I will have a clear conscience in regards to the reason why I did what I did, because I could see that if I freed up the opportunity to spend money somewhere else on the property, that would have made the client happy and would have given my employer work elsewhere in that property, rather than having the client spending $2,500, almost $3,000 unnecessarily on a task that didn't need to happen, because my boss was looking to take money and create work for himself when it wasn't necessary. Anyway, story told. But for me, the last few years I've come to a place in my life where embracing my darkness means that I've looked to do it by myself, to come to a place where I've embraced it in a way that hasn't been shown to anybody else. I've come to realize now, though, after watching that Stuart Wild video, which I'll post in this clip in the my own comments section, that freedom often means that you face an asshole in the fucking face and you tell them to fuck off. Don't take it personally, but fuck off. And that's embracing the part of yourself that you realize that rather than suppressing it, you do it with integrity and honor. And you say, this is where my boundaries are, and you can fuck off. Embracing that darkness by holding the light of your integrity. Fine line is a dance, and I want to embrace it. Thanks for watching and listening. I truly appreciate it. Matewa. I'll see you again soon.